7th, and the first two occasions were I was with UNICEF. One occasion with the BBC, where I did a documentary on landmines, demining, and then this is my fourth time in this present role. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics. A couple of years ago, when I was first here, we talked a lot about the nature of the Cambodian workforce and what was going to be needed as Cambodia moved towards 2020, 2025. It's still a discussion. One of the things that was obvious was there was a potential deficiency in maths. We were moving very rapidly into a digital world. Cambodia is in a highly competitive situation with other Southeast Asian nations. And if it was going to emerge as a winner, as opposed to a backmarker, it needed a higher level of mathematics in particular, but engineering in general, or should I say the other way around, maths in general, engineering in particular. And it kind of grew out of that. Now, it happened to be a subject I knew a bit about, not because I was any good at all at maths, because I wasn't, but because I was chairman of the first national endowment in the UK 15 years ago, over that. And we developed a thing called STEAM, not STEM, STEAM, because we added the arts, and we pushed very hard for this to become a kind of a subject taken very seriously within the UK curriculum. And we kind of lost that battle because we found that maths teachers found it almost impossible to get their heads around the fact that they'd be collaborating with and working with people in the arts. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So I kind of retreated to STEM from STEAM, and we accepted the fact that that was the way it was going to go. And I think it's been a significant success in Britain. At the time all this was being done, we had a serious deficit in engineering. And yet we had these terrific high-end engineering companies like Arab, I guess the best of them, or the biggest. So, yeah, we were trying to address our own shortage. And out of that came a discussion of Cambodian shortages. Out of that came a discussion of the things we'd done in the UK to try and correct it, out of which became the idea that maybe it could be done in Cambodia. I'm also very fortunate in that I chair the Times Educational Supplement Board, and as such I knew Craig Barton and I knew what was being done on the maths front with Craig. So it wasn't that difficult to put Craig together with the embassy, who have been fantastic here, the UK embassy. And that's what developed into that's what got this head of STEAM for STEM. I just thought that, it's very cute, isn't it? I am a huge fan of technology, which is interesting when you consider that I left the film industry. Literally, you were still able to look through a piece of film. We still had sprocket holes. And it was when I realised that the degree was entering a new world, and that world was digital, that I had to take it seriously. Oddly, I got a feeling if I had stayed in the film industry, I would have kind of found myself very reluctantly being forced into accepting change that I wasn't ready for. But a combination of the fact that the world of editing had already changed, so I got familiar very quickly with the world of digital editing. I had no choice. And then was able to look at the entire thing from an educational perspective, which was to say, it's already well for, it's all well for me. I'm in my 50s at that time, my early 60s, but there's going to be a generation coming up behind me who are going to have to be digital natives, going to have to accept the fact that this is their world. I'd better try and become part of it. Then I had another piece of extraordinary luck, in a way. I had a bad car crash, a fairly bad car crash in Italy, and I did my arm in, and I spent spent quite a lot of time in bed after that. And I had to release it, and I live in the west coast of Ireland. I had to seriously think about, well, hang on, it would have been worse if I've been completely incapacitated, what would I be doing? And I read somewhere about the Cisco telepresence system, so I took myself off to see it, and I was very impressed by it. I had a friend who was a #2 guy at British Telecom, BT, and I sort of challenged him. I said, look, could I get that in my rural, where I live by the sea in Ireland? He said, it's got to be possible. So a combination of him deciding it was an interesting challenge for them, me deciding it was a way of actually ensuring that I could remain relevant. I built it, and I've been teaching from there now for over 3 years, all over the world. So I'm actually locked into technology. This is the way I now work, not just on my iPad, not just on my computer, but actually I spend a lot of time in the studio. Well, we're very lucky here in Cambodia. One of the nicest and most hard-working, diligent people I deal with here is the Minister of Education, who happened to start pretty well the same time that I started this job. So it was a piece of luck. I think he'd been Deputy Minister of Finance, who's an amazing guy. And he got it from, the first time I ever met him, the first time we ever discussed it. And he's been fabulous at kind of just, pursuing it. When's it going to happen? How can I get involved? We spent about 2/3 of the whole of yesterday launching it. So I've had the best possible advocate, in fact I think to be here tonight, the best possible advocate working to make a success of this. I mean, that was pure luck. I've never met an education minister, I don't think anywhere in the world, maybe, yeah, there was a brilliant British one at one point, but anyone more enthusiastic or more committed to making a success of Cambodian education and taking chances to do it. Look, you've got to accept the fact this is an 80% agricultural economy. It's pretty hard to convince generations of farmers and farmers' sons and farmers' grandsons that maths is fundamental to their futures. It's difficult. But interestingly enough, it is increasingly the case. For example, in Ireland, where I live, we've found that the digital take-up among farmers is very fast and very sophisticated. Why? Because they've come to understand that they can increase their crop yields, that their predictability about the weather has been enhanced, that the things like the quality of soil, they can check and test in a way they've never been able to before. So in fact, farmers interested become one of the very first groups of serious digital natives, or they become engaged in the digital world more rapidly than almost any other group. And now if it can happen in Ireland, if you can get that message across in Ireland, in the end, farmers around the world are interested in crop yield or the quality of their cattle. That's what they're really interested in. If you can show them a way of guaranteeing the quality of their cattle or guaranteeing that their crop yield is increased, you'd be amazed how passionate they can become about the technology that makes it possible. I never cease to be amazed. I'm now talking briefly about Vietnam, but I think it's potentially absolutely true of Cambodia. The amount of stuff inside your phone that's actually made in Vietnam or developed in Vietnam is quite extraordinary. And not just developed in any manufacturing sense, actually programmed in Vietnam is quite extraordinary. So the whole world of programming is obviously wide open. We're looking in Europe at a terrible problem with cybersecurity, and a lot of that cybersecurity work is got to be farmed out, done elsewhere. Telecoms work, I suppose, in the end, fulfillment situations in call centres, all of that. We're moving up the value chain all the time. A call centre, even a dozen years ago, was a drudge job. Increasingly, call centres are more sophisticated. Increasingly, the demands made on the people within call centres are greater. Increasingly, they begin more responsibility, and they have to be more sophisticated, digitally more sophisticated. So, one of the things the digital world is driving is the sophistication of individual jobs. And if you don't have that, if all you are is a voice and someone to write down an order, your career prospects are pretty limited. I think that, again, I think all the telecom companies are looking at the possibility of developing, a huge amount of their world is programming and coding. If they can outsource that to a country that do it competently, where the workforce is skilled and where the prices are right, they're going to do that. And I don't think this is a question of a race to the bottom. It's a quality thing. If you can get yourself the quality you need and the skills you need and the security of labour that you need at a price that you can afford, frankly, whoever delivers that is going to be a winning nation. And there's no reason on earth why it shouldn't be Cambodia. Craig Barton, I talked to yesterday, he's the guy who's here doing the STEM, or the STEM stuff, said he has never come across, ever in his life, more enthusiastic or more teachable maths teachers and maths students than he's found here in Cambodia. He's absolutely knocked out by the quality of the people he's encountered here. That's a very good sign.